to me, a nigga will pick who he fight with.
Right.
Like if you see and you go, I'm not going because this.
I won't for him, but
I think I can take him.
Right.
You want to fight the nigga you think you can beat.
Jay Prince tried to hit 50 Cent with that classic old school check-in move, like he was just another rapper passing through Houston, looking for a photo op and validation. But 50, he wasn't going for none of that. Instead of bowing down, he flipped the whole play, straight up called out the check-in system for what it really is, control masked as respect. He basically told Jay Prince, try me if you want. And just like that, what had been quiet tension between Houston's silent enforcer and New York's bulletproof bully turned into an open fire rivalry. But here's the twist. This didn't just come out of nowhere. That animosity, it's been simmering for years. To understand why, you gotta rewind. Jay Prince, the architect behind Rap-A-Lot Records, isn't your average music mogul. He's the blueprint for the street executive calm, calculated, feared more than he's seen. Down in Houston, people don't just respect Jay Prince. They move carefully when they mention his name. Because when you step in his city without checking in, you're not just taking a flight, you're gambling with your peace, your jewelry, maybe even your reputation.
Like I got out there, they showed me a lot of love. But Shreveport had the infrastructure already here. Like even the tax incentive was put.
Oh yeah. And so a lot of people have been talking about, man, he's here only because they gave him a cheap deal or something like that. The reality is there's more to that deal.
Yes.
Way more.
They can't see it.
Right there.
I'm spending $20 million this year anyway, in the same building that they're saying was the cheap building.
Right.
So find somebody else to spend 20.
And that's where 50 comes in, the one man who's made a whole career out of never following anyone's rules. Since day one, he's been at war, Ja Rule, Irv Gotti, Murder Inc., all of them. The man's entire story starts with defiance, and Houston was never going to be the place that broke that streak. 50 built his entire empire, G-Unit, on one rule: never bow to nobody. Untouchable, unbothered, unchecked. No checking in, no kiss the ring rituals, no paying gatekeepers just to exist. That attitude, it didn't just make him successful, it made him dangerous.
The crowd lost their minds. 50 was standing on that float like he was born and raised in the H.
Came to the city of Houston, but he didn't just come here to live. He has been helping out on so many causes in this city. And especially, he has been in our high schools, turning our high school students into entrepreneurs with his Unity Camp program. I've seen him firsthand. This city has been elevated because of his presence. And so today we have the honor of saying to him, he's our 2022 Grand Marshal. Give it up to Curtis 50 Jackson. Now, before I call on him to speak, let me present you first a key to the city of Houston. Anywhere you go, 550 buildings, use the key, the door will swing wide open.
A man who doesn't play the game threatens everyone who profits from it. So when rumors started flying that 50 was moving his base to Houston, oh, it got real tense, real fast. Because this wasn't about beats or lyrics anymore. It was about territory, pride, power, two heavyweight egos colliding head on. Jay Prince had Houston on a leash. Every major move, every major name. But 50 Cent wasn't some random visitor. He was a walking declaration of war, a one-man rebellion against the entire check-in culture. And both sides knew if this went down, it wouldn't be quiet. See, when 50 touched down in H-Town and didn't check in with Jay Prince, that wasn't just disrespect, that was a statement. A power move broadcast loud and clear. And he didn't whisper it, he performed it. At first, it played out like a Cold War. Sly shade, coded posts, silent tension from coast to coast. 50 in New York, running his empire and trolling online like it's sport. Jay Prince in Houston, calm as ever, running the city like it owed him rent. But the silence broke the second 50 dropped that tweet. A simple post that felt like a declaration. Next thing you know, the internet went wild. Clips, comments, chaos. Then came the moment no one expected. 50 standing tall on that parade float.
Maybe we need to change the word for the youngsters. The checking in part, is they seem to get hung up on that word checking in.
Yeah.
So if we could diversify that word and bring it up to a 2021 thing.
Right. What's the word, OG? What's the word?
Yeah, look, maybe we may want to tell them they need to get connected. You're stuck on stupid, right?
Yeah.
You're stuck on stupid and you're not using your power or access to powers that you have. You're looking at it as a negative versus a positive. We all know if you can tap into good people wherever you go.
Wherever.
You know what I mean? It's a blessing, Rip.
Real talk.
Smiling like he was born and raised in the H. No security panic, no tension in his face, just pure confidence. The kind of confidence that makes even the quietest king feel challenged. Use the key. The door will swing wide open. I love New York, but I live in Houston now. I'll explain later. That's what 50 posted. Short, cold, and cryptic. But make no mistake, that wasn't a random relocation. That was a chess move. 50 didn't pack up for clout. He was strategizing. New York taxes were bleeding his empire dry, and Houston was opportunity. Bigger space, better business laws, and a booming hip-hop culture ready to explode. It was the perfect setup for the next phase of his dominance. And let's not forget Branson Cognac, his baby, his brand. He needed a southern stronghold, a nightlife city where bottles move like water, and H-Town was that gold mine. 50 wasn't just moving in, he was planting a flag. But here's the twist, he did it without checking in. To a man like Jay Prince, that wasn't business. That was disrespect. In Houston, that kind of move is like walking into the lion's den and locking eyes with the king. Word spread fast through the streets. Whispers turned to stories. Stories turned to rumors. People were saying Jay Prince sent folks to apply pressure. Soft threats, quiet visits, subtle warnings. Some even claimed he wanted 50 to pay for what they called street-level protection.
Don't turn me down. What you said? Don't turn me down. What you on, folks? Don't turn you down. Yeah, man. What you on, folks? What you mean what I'm on? What you on, man? What the deal there? What up? What up? You want to buy your shit back? What? You ain't get you flunked out ass little nigga. I'm trying to see where you at. You dumb mother. What you got? $20 out of car? Nah, nigga. You know what we got, nigga. Stop that cap. Man. Nigga capping, bro. They gonna believe anything in the nigga. So you got my car. I just took a picture in the same car today with my little boy. You on this like y'all.
I got a call, you know what I mean, because the little homie young boy place got broke into. He went in his place, disrespected different things, and you know, I got a call about it. And the little homies that went into this place want to make that right, because they understand that, you know what I mean, young boy family is okay with me. And as you can see, homie, to make a long story short, I got your keys to your Rolls Royce, I got your keys to your McLaren, with all that shit that they took, and the homie, Shakur, what you got, homie?
We got your Rolls Royce umbrellas, we got your keys, we got a bunch of other shit, so.
But 50? Nah, he don't flinch. He told his crew straight up, G-Unit rolls with their own. We ain't paying no man just to breathe in his city. Because for 50, respect ain't something you buy, it's something you earn. And if you come at him sideways, he'll make sure the whole world watches you get checked in a different way, publicly. So what happened next? Word is, Jay Prince allegedly tried to hit 50 with a no-fly zone. Translation, you're not welcome in Houston. Now that kind of message might rattle smaller artists, the ones still chasing a seat at the table. But 50 Cent? Nah, he is the table. And instead of backing down, he flipped it, turned the whole thing into entertainment. IG went crazy, memes everywhere. 50 made it look like a comedy special. He mocked the check-in culture like it was outdated mob code, and just to pour gasoline on the fire, he dared Jay Prince to respond, publicly. It was petty, it was genius, it was pure 50, but beneath all that trolling, things were heating up for real. Behind the scenes, he'd been building something massive, a $20 million G-Unit film and TV studio planned right in Houston. Jobs, internships, production, a whole empire rising in the South. It was about to make H-Town a new media capital. Then, out of nowhere, boom. The whole project gets yanked and moved to Shreveport, Louisiana. Publicly, 50 played it cool, said it was all about better infrastructure. But everyone who's plugged in knows the truth. It wasn't about power lines, it was about power plays. The politics in Houston were getting too grimy, too unpredictable. And 50, he don't dance with snakes, he moves the whole stage instead. He cuts the grass and relocates the whole empire. But here's the twist, this next part feels like poetic justice. Jay Prince might have tried to freeze him out the city, but Houston had other plans. Because just 1 year after 50 touched down, the city didn't just tolerate him, they embraced him, like family.
Hey, I don't want no friends, I don't want no new relationships. All it. Hey, I don't respect none of this shit, man. If you got something for me, man, they got plenty around me, you could call. Man, nigga, it's plenty ways you can get in touch with me. Man, don't get on no internet and do nothing publicly. Don't do nothing dealing with no publicity, none of that pussy and shit. And I'm good on them keys, gangster. When you buy shit cash, two keys come with the car anyway. I ain't this, man.
In 2022, right there at the Thanksgiving Day parade, Houston's mayor, Sylvester Turner, handed 50 Cent a key to the city. The crowd went crazy, cameras flashing, the streets roaring. Mayor Turner grabbed that mic and called 50 a philanthropist, an entrepreneur. Then he thanked him for giving back to the youth through his G-Unity program. Meanwhile, the streets were buzzing. Like, hold up, Jay Prince tried to block him, and now the city's crowning him, and there he was. 50 standing tall on that parade float, waving like Houston royalty, smiling like he'd been running the city his whole life. And honestly, by then, he kind of was, because this wasn't just for show, it was real. Through his G-Unity Foundation, 50 started giving back heavy, turkey drives, toy giveaways, school donations, real boots on the ground stuff that touched families all across the H, and he didn't do it alone. He teamed up with the Houston Rockets, Texans, and Astros, running it all through his Sire Spirits brand. The same man they said wouldn't be welcome ended up owning the moment. No beef, no check-in, no permission, just legacy. 50 didn't bend the rules, he rewrote them. And that's why, love him or hate him, you can't deny his game. Because every time they try to box him out, he just builds a bigger stage. If you made it this far, hit that subscribe, like, and drop a comment below. Because this story is just another chapter in the saga of 50 Cent. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. By 2023, 50 wasn't just living in Houston, he was invested in it. That year alone, he dropped over $850,000 worth of toys straight into the hands of Houston kids. No bragging, no headlines, just impact. Then came 2024, and instead of slowing down, he turned the pressure up again, in his way. He auctioned off 2 massive bottles of his Le Chemin du Roi champagne, raising $500,000 for the Houston Children's Charity. And get this, the event pulled in a total of $6 million. While 50 was getting applause from city officials, kids, and celebrities alike,
with older people, they're the last to know that things have changed. We not your little niggas. Like, the way you talking, I don't get what you mean. We're not your little niggas. Like, for real, all that big homie stuff, that's for little niggas. Little niggas have big homies. We're not little niggas, so we don't even respect big homies. I know Killer doesn't, and for me, I never respected niggas in the streets. That's why I always got the problems.
Jay Prince was allegedly watching from the sidelines. The same man who once controlled Houston's respect like currency. Now sitting back, seeing another boss celebrated in broad daylight. That's gotta sting. And just when people thought it might all quiet down, Tony Yayo, G-Unit's loudest voice, stepped in and lit the room on fire. On a Vlad TV interview, Yayo broke it all down. He said the reason G-Unit never checked in anywhere was simple. It's a hustle, bro. You check in, you pay up, or you get lined up. That's the blueprint. And according to Yayo, Jay Prince built his whole brand around being the so-called protector of artists in Houston. But he claimed it was never really about safety. It was about control. A fake-friendly system with a heavy price tag. Respect packaged as protection, loyalty disguised as leverage. At first glance, it sounds like just another street custom. But when you peel it back, it's basically glorified extortion wrapped in tradition. Because if you're an artist landing in Houston, there's an expectation. You check in with Jay Prince and his circle, or you risk finding out the hard way what happens when you don't. And here's where it gets grimy. NBA YoungBoy pulled up to Houston on business. No check-in, no warning, just straight confidence. Next thing you know, his spot gets hit. Chains gone, cash gone, car keys vanished. Now you can call it coincidence, but the streets, they don't believe in those. Because when the same people offering protection are the ones you might need protection from, that's not safety, that's extortion with a smile. Then out of nowhere, Jay Prince pops up on Instagram acting like the hero of the story, talking about how he got YoungBoy's stolen goods back, flexing like some neighborhood savior. But instead of making a private call, he blasted it all online like a press release. And YoungBoy, oh, he wasn't having it. He clapped back immediately, called it for what it was, a stunt. Said if Jay Prince was really trying to help, he wouldn't be online flexing for likes like some 60-year-old clout chaser. Straight up disrespectful truth, and YoungBoy wasn't the only one who saw through it. Cameron and Machi jumped in too, publicly dragging Jay Prince for still trying to play mob boss in 2025. They said it plain, real OGs uplift, they don't extort. And the way they put it, cold. If you're pushing 60 and still trying to run the block instead of the boardroom, that ain't power, that's failure. Then there's the other side of Jay Prince's reputation, the dice games, his second favorite hobby, right behind intimidation. These weren't your friendly weekend rolls either. We're talking high-stakes setups, deep money, deeper tension. And in Houston, everybody knows those dice games never end with just laughter. They end with stories. And lately, those stories been getting darker. For years, whispers been floating through the industry that those so-called dice games in Houston, they weren't just games, they were setups. Rigged scenes designed to line up rappers who didn't play by the rules. And the most heartbreaking example, Takeoff. Everyone remembers that night. The chaos, the heartbreak, the silence that followed. But behind the headlines, the street's been saying something darker. According to whispers, Jay Prince was allegedly heated that Takeoff and Quavo didn't check in when they landed in Houston. Word is, he told his people to teach them a lesson, not harm them, just remind them. But it went left, way left, and instead of a message, the world lost a legend. After that tragedy, Jay Prince went quiet, real quiet. No accountability, no ownership, just deflection, distraction, and damage control. Like every time the conversation came up, he'd find a way to slide around it, mumbling through interviews, downplaying the situation like it was some misunderstanding. But the internet never forgets, and real ones in the streets noticed something else. At one point, Jay Prince practically admitted to destroying evidence. Yeah, evidence. Think about that. And the craziest part, Takeoff wasn't the only one caught in that kind of chaos.
Nothing should have happened. What do you say to that?
What I would say to that is, I have a track record, man, and the Prince family have a track record of 30 plus years. You know what I mean? Honoring and loving on our guests and being with our guests, and no shit like this never happened. But here's the thing, and this is what people don't understand. We ain't never had nobody to attack us. If you know what I mean. You know, when a man attack a situation with a weapon, then, it become a playing field where, any and everything go.
And Mike and Junior was walking by, he actually went in the restroom to wash blood off his hand where he had reached up on the Takeoff. He had to pick him up and his fingers went in it. How blood was.
Remember Duke the Jeweler, the young man who hit big at one of those infamous dice games? He walked out up $100,000, probably thinking he just hit the jackpot. But before he could even make it back to his car, bam, shots fired, another life gone. Different night, same circle, same silence afterward, and through it all, one thing kept echoing. In Houston, respect is a currency, but when the wrong people control the money, innocent ones end up paying the price. Ambushed, robbed, gone, just like that. Another talented black man erased over what? A rigged dice game and a fake street code that's been protecting the wrong people for way too long. Put that next to 50 Cent, out here building community centers, donating toys, funding schools, and creating real opportunities. There's no comparison. One man's building legacy, the other's still trying to rule through fear. And here's the part that nobody's really talking about. 50's not trolling for fun anymore. Behind the jokes, the memes, and the smirks, there's a mission. Word on the street says he's been collecting receipts, quietly, carefully, strategically, talking to people behind the scenes, connecting dots, stacking evidence. Because according to insiders, this whole check-in system, it's not about safety, it's about extortion. A full-blown underground network disguised as respect. And lately, 50's been dropping subtle hints that federal eyes are already watching. He's not the type to bluff. When 50 moves, it's chess, not checkers. All those little Instagram posts, they're not random, they're distractions. The real work is happening in silence. And when it surfaces, somebody's empire might crumble. Whether he's building a legal case or just preparing for the ultimate exposure, one thing's clear. We're just one post, one leaked convo, or one quiet federal tip away from the end of Jay Prince's entire operation. Because let's be real, every street code has an expiration date. And the moment the wrong man starts playing by real laws instead of street laws, the game changes forever. One man might still have the streets, but the other? He's got the city on lock. And at this point, only one of them is clearly winning the war. 50 Cent didn't just move to Houston, he took it over. While Jay Prince was allegedly out here trying to strong-arm artists and flex old-school fear, 50 was shaking hands with the mayor, standing on parade floats, and building real programs that change real lives. That's not ego, that's impact. That's power with purpose. Meanwhile, that whole check-in empire, it's crumbling, looking shaky, like it's standing on one last leg. The same streets that used to move in silence are now speaking out loud. So the question is, who really runs Houston now? The quiet street boss lurking in the shadows, or the man with the literal key to the city? You tell us. Is 50 going too far, or is he the hero hip-hop didn't even know it needed? The one finally exposing the dark side of the industry's unspoken rules. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you're rocking with the truth. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next chapter. Because trust me, it only gets messier from here. See you on the next video.